Amen.
Amen.
So I just want to go straight to my presentation this morning. I'm in Kenya, in a place called Kajiado County. Yeah, but I'm a member of New Life SDA Church Migori, SDA Church. I am a mother of four. I'm married, happily married, and I thank God for the blessing of family. Yeah. So apart from that, my profession is, as I've always shared here, I am a psychological counselor, and I've been in this profession for the past almost 19 years now. I've been offering services to clients, to friends, to neighbors, and people who are in need. Yeah. So basically, that is what I do, and I have a special. I want to thank my sister Naomi for making it possible for me to have this platform, for me to at least talk about the issues that we face as a family, so that at least we are able to see how best we can approach issues that affect us. So I would like to just give an overview of what mental health is. This is a state of well-being. Like when you say that you are of good mental health state, it is a state of well-being. This comprises of emotional, psychological, and social health. And this impacts greatly on how someone thinks, feels, and behaves, and even how they cope with life stresses. So when someone says that they have issues with mental health, it means it is not the person cannot take care of, cannot be able to cope with their feelings, their behavior, and even the life stresses. So mental health is important in all stages of a human being, and it greatly dictates on how we go about our normal day in, day out activities, especially when you are struggling with a mental health illness, it can actually affect your work productivity. You can be a person who will be going to work, but you don't see the reason, or you don't see the need for you to go to work, because even if you go to work, you're just a stressed person. Yeah, and sometimes you cannot deliver. Sometimes you can even be angry at small things, even at work, even to your clients. You transfer your anger and even your frustrations to other people. So it is important to check on your mental health. Growth and development, it can actually interfere with growth and development, because like for example, if you're a young person and maybe you went through a traumatic condition or event, it can actually affect you even as you grow up if you do not seek help. So it is important for someone to actually identify if you have an issue. It is good to seek help and actually see how best you can get support. Yeah, healthy relationship. We've seen instances whereby marriages are failed, not because someone is not the right partner for the other, but it is because maybe someone is going through a mental health situation, and this person cannot be able to actually balance the relationship and what they are going through. So it is important for us as a community or as a society to actually identify if someone is going through a situation or a mental health issue, which we'll talk about later in this presentation. We'll talk about the mental illnesses and the issues that we all go through, so that we can all easily relate to what we go through in our day in, day out issues. So physical health, it can also affect our physical health. So like most people who are going through mental health issues tend to withdraw. Sometimes they don't even talk to people. They isolate so much. So it is important for us to actually be vigilant, even in church, to be able to identify our friends or our churchmates who are going through a difficult situation. So I would like to define what mental illness is. Um, it is basically the absence of illness, the ability to cope with the stressors, work productively, and contribute positively to the community. So if you feel that there is a miss there, I think you need to seek for help. And there are very many places whereby we can seek help. You can actually talk to your friend, a trusted friend, because in the world that we live in, we have friends that if you share with them what you're going through, it will become a walking, like something that they will go around spreading about you. For example, if I'm going through a situation in my family with my husband, and I share to my friend or even one of my churchmates, yeah, we've had instances whereby the news goes around. So it is important for you to identify someone, a trusted friend, someone that you think can actually help you through your situation. So at this point, I would like also to just highlight that the reason as to why I found it very important for me to speak about mental health to the society, because I'd already worked for a very long time in the hospital setup, and somehow I felt that it limited my the people that I could reach. Like for example, I could only see the clients who've just come in for the service. But I realized that outside here, there are a lot of people who are going through issues, even my neighbors, eh? Even the people that I talk to every day. Sometimes when you're in the vehicle and you sit beside someone, when you're just talking with that person, you'll realize that they are going through something. So I just felt that it was very important for me to now reach out and speak out about mental health. And it was around 2 years ago that I started now opening my services to the community. Sometimes I visit schools, sometimes I visit even at church, sometimes during the camp meetings, I can ask for a few minutes to just talk about talk to teenagers, talk to families during family life. And I realized that people are so open to these discussions because they could easily relate to what they are going through. So it has really helped me, and given that now we are here, I'm glad that maybe one even a single person will get something positive from this discussion, at least to help them even as we continue. So at this point, I would like to, and that is why I wanted to say that I started some program that I work for. It is just a program that I do online services and even one-on-one services sometimes. So after this session, anyone who feels that they have an issue that they might need someone to talk to, you can always reach out so that we are able to see how best we can support each other. So at this point, I would like to invite another speaker who is my husband. His name is Joe. He'll introduce himself, but we are together in this service. He's also a counselor. He's been in this service for quite some time. I know he'll share that. And we do this together. So maybe he'll also introduce himself and also talk about something about mental health that he had prepared for this platform. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is John. Hello, brothers and sisters. I want to hello. I want to say I'm glad to be part and parcel of today's service. And I believe it's a blessing for me being here and also meeting and being able to converse with other people from different parts of this the world on matters spiritual, matters also psychological and also physical. Just as my partner mentioned, uh, I've also been a counselor for quite a number of years, both on facility level and also community level. We've been trying to reach out to community in terms of mental care and also in terms of medical care within the community and also at the facility. Now, today, I just want to mention that we are discussing an important topic that affects each and every one of us and every person, and that is mental health. And as believers, we all often talk about caring for our spirits and our bodies. But at times we forget that God also cares deeply about our minds and emotions. At times life brings a lot of pressures. We go through so much. You have family responsibilities, financial stress is also there, work challenges come in, and some, or if not all of us, we have experienced certain uncertainties, loss, and grief. Now, these are experiences that can affect how we think and also how we relate to others. So, I'm glad that this uh, uh, opportunity to talk about mental health uh, in church, it 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 gives us an avenue to be able to build a safe and supportive and also a loving community. Uh, there are causes of mental health, things that trigger mental health, and there are several. It is important to note some of them happen to us unconsciously, some of them we experience consciously. So there are those several situations that can affect our emotional well-being. Some of them we've gone through them, we've experienced them, we've seen them in others. I like to mention there are situations like when we experience stress and responsibilities. Normally, that causes uh, some imbalance in our mental struggles. Like balancing work becomes quite a challenge that contributes to our mental struggles, family, finances, and also other expectations that we have normally become overwhelming. And that becomes a bit difficult for most of us. And that's where we experience that kind of imbalance in our mental state. At times, some of us have experienced loss and grief at some level. This translates to the death of a loved one, even in relationships. At times, when you have broken relationships or disappointment, can also deeply affect us. our mental state. Death is something that is there. It is something that even from Genesis to Revelation, death is something that has been spoken of, has been experienced. And this, in our real life situations, also bring about our mental struggles. Also, life changes. When you relocate, you lose a job, illnesses, those are things that affect our lives. Uh, Family transitions, those brings a lot of uncertainties in our lives. They really affect us mentally. Also, at times when you become lonely or isolated in different situations, eh, maybe lack of support or feeling misunderstood, this kind of state, they affect your mental well-being. That one causes also uh, challenges in your mental well-being. There are other physical factors that we commonly experience. Uh, Lack of sleep, we become sick, and even what we eat. Pure nutrition can also affect your mind, as simple as what you eat. Uh, Lack of exercise. Those are things that bring about imbalance in your mental well-being. So caring for our mental health is very key and important uh, for us to be able to live a stress-free life. Yeah. Now, there are things when you look at, or there are signs that might show someone may be struggling with mental health. And as a caring church community, we should really be able to recognize these warning signs. We might see somebody's sadness is something that is there, it's part of our human nature. But you see someone is persistently sad. Today is sad, tomorrow is just sad. Shows no signs of happiness. That is a sign that somebody might be struggling with his or her mental health. People worry, excessive worry. Worry is just it. Worry is something that is there, is positive and negative at some level. But when you see someone who is excessively worried, or when we experience excesses in worry, it means that we are experiencing some level of mental challenge. It becomes a, a struggle with our mental state. Loss of interest in normal activities that we normally do. Normally we're active, there are things that you used to do within your home, at work, but all of a sudden you lose interest today, tomorrow the same. It means that that is a sign that you have you are experiencing mental. Uh, it's a challenge there. At times we find someone even within the home, children or even us, you sleep more than normal. Too much sleep, sleep excess, or even too little sleep. It means there's an issue with your mental. At times you experience fatigue, you're tired throughout because of overthinking, or you're just tired for no reason. It means that something something is wrong, and that needs to be checked. Also, another sign is withdrawal from people. You become irritable, you become angry, persistent anger. Those are signs that we should watch out for when we are, in any case, somebody is experiencing that, uh, is experiencing a mental struggle. Now, I also want to mention that there are ways that you can protect your mental health or someone's mental health. It is important that we are able to talk about your feelings. The moment you keep problems inside, it increases your stress levels. Mm. Talking, sharing, it helps reduce that. Mm. It helps reduce the emotional burden that normally one will experience. So it's important that you can talk with friends about your issues, about how you feel. It becomes a burden half shared. You can talk to your family. In church, we have trusted leaders of the church, family life leaders, our elders. We share with them, and that will help you relieve the stress levels and also protect your mental health. We also have professionals, we have psychiatrists, we have counselors, therapists. When you get an opportunity to share with them, they can help you through the journey of your mental health. You can also manage your stress on a daily basis. There are simple ways to do that, as simple as exercise or just taking short breaths or deep breathings. Those are things that you can effortlessly do on a daily basis. Prayer is key, or even meditation helps relieve our stresses and improves our mental health. Other ways that can protect our mental health, you stay connected within your relationships. Strong relationships normally protect our mental health. And I also like to encourage that when you spend time with others, you support one another, that social life improves our mental health. We need also to avoid isolation. You just stay by yourself. It brings about other thoughts that are not good. Taking care of your body is also important. Yeah, eating well, sleeping well, physical activities are very important for the development and growth of our mental health. Um, Exercising regularly, yeah, those ones also help a lot. Also need also to set a realistic expectation in our life situations. We should try as much as possible to avoid things like comparing yourself with others. It will put you in a compromising situation whereby maybe you want to look like somebody else. Yeah, you get into a competition mode with somebody else. Maybe you don't know how they manage their life situation, and you want to put yourself in the same situation as them. That one will really affect the way you become mentally. You also need to also reduce the responsibilities. At times, we struggle with many responsibilities. The moment you take so much, you want to do so much, uh, maybe you want to achieve so much, that one gains so much on you. It's okay to just say that, or to even ask for help. Yeah. So that is very important. And I also want to really emphasize that more often we should spend much more time, quiet time in prayer and reflection uh, 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 within us, and also prayer with others is also important. So it's also important as believers that we are called to care for one another. We can support those who are struggling also by listening to them, their issues, without even being judgmental. We show patience and kindness, praying with them. And also, when we get the opportunity, we should also be able to create avenues and also time for checking on them regularly and encouraging them gently. So I want to believe that sometimes just simply being present for someone or being there for someone, as we've shared today, that shows God's love. So I just want to mention those. Uh, Besides that, I just also want to mention that in mental health, seeking help is it's not lack of faith. Also, when we seek professional support such as counseling or medical care, which at times we really need, it does not mean that you lack faith. God often works through people to bring healing and restoration. So I also want to believe that mental health is an important part of our overall well-being. And as a church and community, we can just talk openly about our mental health, support one another with love, encourage healthy habits, and pray for strength and healing. So it's just okay to struggle. It's okay to ask for help. And also want to believe that nobody should also in this life walk alone. Yeah, maybe I'll ask my partner to continue from that point as we conclude. I think there are a few issues that we'll point out to remember.
Yeah, thank you so much, Baba Tamar, for that wonderful presentation. So I would like us to continue, and maybe I'll take over from where he has left. I would like to talk about the common mental health conditions. Yeah, common health conditions that are common. Yeah, we have anxiety. Anxiety is excessive fear, worry, or nervousness. So I know most people can relate to this disorder, and most of the signs and symptoms that present in this particular mental condition is that most people tend to be tensed, or in panic mode. Most of them tremble, like for example, you don't have confidence. Someone feels weak and tired most of the time. And most of the time, someone cannot depend on themselves. They isolate a lot and tend to keep away from people or places that trigger uh, the anxiety. Yeah. So most people tend to seek reassurance. Like, for example, when you see someone asking, am I properly dressed? What do you think? How do I look? This is someone who is struggling with anxiety. And when it is too much, it can actually interfere with someone's confidence. So it is important to actually identify if you have such an issue. If you cannot speak in front of people, you cannot express yourself confidently, and just say this is especially for kids. You'll find that maybe because of the environment, a child cannot say what they are going through because of anxiety. Like, for example, something happened to them, but because of that fear, they cannot be able to actually say or speak up and say, this is happening to me. So it is important to actually point out and seek help. There are other issues like depression. Actually, this has taken a toll of almost everyone in the society, because like my husband talked about the triggers. There are a lot of things that trigger depression. Like, for example, if someone has lost a job, there is a marriage that is not working, or a failed relationship, or maybe you're just going through a season in your life that is not positive. Most people tend to go into depression. Some people, maybe because of lack of support, maybe maybe someone got pregnant and maybe the relationship did not work. We have uh, depressions like postpartum depression. Someone tends to now get depressed after delivery. So these are some of the things that we really need to watch out for as a society, as a church, so that we are able to help one another when we go through such situations. Someone has lost a loved one in church. It is not automatic that they will pick up. We need to just come around and be there for this person, because losing a loved one, losing a job, when a marriage is failing, you see, the expectation of the society is that you'll just pick up and continue. So it is important for us to actually own up and try to help one another. So depression mostly is characterized by sadness or loss of interest and low energy. So there are other conditions like bipolar. I would like to just go very fast so that I know that maybe some other time again we'll have time to talk more about these conditions, because today we just want to give an overview and just create awareness. Yeah, bipolar disorders, these involve shifts in mood, energy, and activity level. Yeah, someone is just happy this minute, the next minute they've just changed. They're just angry, they're just annoyed, they're just yelling. This is someone who could be having a bipolar disorder. So it is important for us to actually, if it is so persistent, even in our families, sometimes you realize that someone does not have a balance. With their mood. So it is important for us to actually identify, and maybe we can see how best we can support these people. Yeah, there are avenues, there are channels that someone can seek help. So those ones we'll talk about later in our bulletin. So there's this other one, which is called post-traumatic stress disorder. It arises after experiencing a traumatic event. And some of the examples of traumatic events can be, like, for example, physical or sexual assault, natural disasters. Like the other time we saw, there were I don't know how they are called, but in the western side we saw there were, I don't know, Katerina, I don't know how they are called, but a lot of water just sweeps families, like droughts and even like just natural disasters, things that we have no control over, but can be traumatic. Yeah, accidents, death of a loved one, a childhood abuse or neglect. And this is where I would like to maybe call on everyone that if you're a parent or a grandparent, or even an uncle or an auntie, yeah, it is important for us to actually be there for our young children when they are growing up, because we are all struggling to make ends meet, and we've really neglected the young ones. So the experiences that they have right now can actually affect them even in their future lives. For example, if they have a caregiver who's not hands-on, or a caregiver who beats them at home without your knowledge, because it has happened. We see that a lot here in Kenya. So it can be actually a traumatizing experience, and sometimes this can actually go on even to adulthood. So it is important for us to see how best we can close in and support our young ones. There are other conditions like eating disorders. There are people who relieve their stresses by eating. It is abnormal eating habit. Someone just eats, and eats without breaks. Yeah. And they find pleasure in eating because they are going through something, but the only coping mechanism that they have is just eating. So when you realize that, that is a condition that needs support. Yeah, there are others like anger. There are people who cannot balance their emotional state. Yeah, and this ranges from mild to 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 extreme levels of anger. We've seen people kill others, in events whereby maybe you've disagreed with someone. You cannot contain yourself in that moment and see how best you can handle a situation. So the best way is just to eliminate someone because you could not contain yourself in that situation. Yeah, and it starts slowly, gradually, and eventually it now gets out of hand. You're not able to control it. So it is important when you realize that your partner, your child has anger issues, you realize you yourself, maybe you have anger issues, because people will tell you that, hey, why you like you have anger issues. You need to just sit down and reflect and see how best you can seek support, because this can actually land you into problems. We've seen people who've been behind bars because of maybe the decision they made out of anger. So it is important for us as a church to actually see how best we can support one another in our church. Yeah. I just wanted to say something about this issue of anger, and allow me to just relate it to our religion and our way of worship. Yeah, there are people even in church here that you find that someone has anger issues and is actually very committed to church services and church programs, and they actually pray very well, and they are like, when they talk, it is very different with how they handle their anger issues. So sometimes it is good to have balance, because other Christians will actually see you and try to relate. Is this okay? This member talked to me this way. Is this really a Christian? What do we portray outside there? Because we've been told we are the light of the world. Whatever we do should reflect with the character of Christ. So when you're so angry and you cannot contain yourself, this does not reflect what Christ wants. So it is important for you to actually seek for help, because it will affect your faith in one way or another. People will fear, because someone will not even want to talk to you because they fear that maybe you'll get angry. So there are other issues that need to be looked into, like, for example, rape and defilement. And allow me to just talk a little bit about this. We have things that can actually lead to this. Rape is for people who are above 18 years, and defilement is for in our in our in the Kenyan law. Defilement is below 18 years. I don't know about the other ninis, but what I know is that there are things that we can actually do to avoid a rape. Rape is something that is inevitable. It can happen to anyone. So there's no one who is immune. Yeah. Someone can say that, you know what, me, I'm old enough, I can actually walk this path alone in the darkness. You are not immune. So it is important to actually sit down and just take care of yourself and avoid things that can actually trigger rape or defilement. And in this case, I would like to just highlight a few things that we need to avoid. We need to avoid walking alone. Walking alone. Nowadays, people tend to walk with headphones. That even if there's an alarming situation, you cannot be able to detect because you have headphones on. So you're not even able to be aware of your environment. So it is important to just be aware of our environment. Walk in lighted streets, avoid dark areas. Walk in well-populated areas. If there are streets that are lonely at night, avoid those streets. Walk in streets that are highly populated, whereby if something happens to you, you can actually call out for help. So go out with trusted friends. And in this bulleting of trusted friends, I've had several sessions with our young youth that most of them maybe went out, especially our young teenagers who've just joined college, and maybe because our parents never took their time to just sit down and explain to their children what to expect in college. So they get there and there's this thing called culture shock. There's a lot of freedom, there are a lot of activities going on. So they find friends there who actually drag them into their activities. So you find that maybe you've gone out with some friends and they've introduced you to maybe some drinking. Drinking, they start by telling, yes, it's a little bit, just taste. Then when you notice it, you've been dragged. Tomorrow morning you wake up, you've been raped, you don't know where you are, you don't know your friends. So it is important for us as parents to actually be very candid with our children. Talk to them about the kind of friends that they attract. Because if you walk with a thief, there are high chances of you becoming a thief in the near future. So you cannot walk with someone who has a certain character and believe that you cannot be one. So it is important to actually know your friends and work with friends that you know very well that you're safe around them. Have a plan. Yeah, if you've gone somewhere and maybe you're not very sure about that place, for example, make sure your phone is charged. Make sure you have some money for emergency. You can actually call home or even call people to help you. Have numbers of head. There are people who cannot even say even a single number that they have in times of crisis. Like me, I have almost 15 numbers that I have off head. That when I'm in crisis, I can actually tell people to call. So another thing also, when you're out and it is late, it is important for you to call home and tell them that you'll be late and you're almost at the gate, because we've seen instances whereby most people are actually raped by the gate because maybe the other family members took time to open the gate. Yeah, secure your homes, have dogs, electrical fence, a watchman, but above all, keep safe. Be aware of your what? Your environment. Yeah, set boundaries, and also trust your gut. Yeah. So these are some of the issues that just be aware. Yeah, about defilement and under 18 years, they are obviously it is an act of sexual intercourse involving penetration, but anybody can be a perpetrator. This is one thing that I would like to insist here on this forum, that anyone can be a perpetrator. Don't ever trust anyone. We've seen instances whereby even a father can actually take advantage of their children. We've seen instances whereby a brother, your brother, the one that you stay with at home, can actually be a perpetrator. The motorcycle or delivery person whom you normally send at home. Because most of these perpetrators, they are people who are so close to our children, and somehow they have a relationship. So the child trusts this person and does not seem to see if there's anything wrong. So it is important for us to do what? To be aware of this. Let your children dress properly. Yeah, because there are certain dress codes that we allow as parents that can actually attract, yeah, such acts. Yeah, set boundaries with people that might be close, that you may be close with. Like for example, if you have a relative at home, it is important for you to do what? Hello? Someone is talking? Yeah, it is important for you to actually know the character of the person that that you're that you stay with. Yeah, train your child on self-awareness and being aware of their environment. So apart from that, there are other issues like suicidal ideation. Okay, before that, I wanted to talk about what to do after rape or defilement. Yeah, anyone who has gone through such an experience, immediately what you need to do is that you don't interfere with the the evidence. Yeah, what you need to do is that even if it happens, however bad the scene is, you need not to clear the evidence. So you need to first of all go to the facility or the hospital so that at least there are samples that they normally take there, the doctors know, so that they will help you later on when you're now narrowing down into the case. Then you really need to report to the nearest police station. And even at the facility, there are drugs that you're supposed to be given, like, for example, we call them PEP. It is a post-exposure prophylaxis. These ones, they help so that they prevent someone from getting HIV. So it is important to just be aware of what to do in an event whereby you're in a crisis. And there are others, obviously, like, for example, e-pills to prevent unwanted pregnancies. And obviously, there is a procedure that obviously you'll go through, you'll get to be connected with the relevant authorities so that you'll get help. So it is important for someone to understand and be aware of what to do. Apart from that, I've talked so much about that, but actually I decided to dwell on that because it is an issue right now. It has really affected most people. So it is important for just us to be aware, especially the young parents, so that at least we talk to our children about this. We live in an era whereby we need to just be straight to our children, because in our times our parents never used to share with us these things. But it is important for our children to know so that at least they are able to know the boundaries. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about suicidal ideation. This mental condition is an emergency. Yeah. Anytime you see a person talk about thoughts of death that surround death, it is important for you to do what? To take it seriously, because these are warning signs. Sometimes it can be passive. Yeah, someone can just say in passing that, I'd rather just die. Eh? Don't ever take that lightly, because out of just talking, human beings tend to just speak what their mind, what is in their mind. So, and sometimes it can be active in that this continues until eventually you find that someone has actually committed suicide. So it is important for us to narrow down and identify such issues in our society. So I want to move very fast. Issues that can lead to suicidal ideation is feeling hopelessness, increased substance abuse, identity triggers, focus on self-care or love. It is good to reach out and seek for support. Yeah, in instances like that. And sometimes these people who are suicidal can actually cause self-harm. You find that someone, when they are going through a situation, they actually knock themselves even against the wall. These are signs of suicidal ideation. So, or even bang tables or surfaces. Yeah. So I would like also to talk about drug and substance abuse. It has really affected our society, and I know all of you can actually relate very well to this, but I would just like to talk about the effects of drug and substance abuse, because all of us know these drugs that are out there. And some of the drugs, the effects that drugs has caused is that we have broken homes or broken families. You find that someone has gotten married to a very nice wife or even a nice husband, a man, but this marriage cannot last because of drugs. So you find that this person can actually not balance family when it is extreme. Yeah. Someone is not productive at work. You go to work drunk, you end up losing this job because of this habit that you cannot control. Yeah. Financial issues. Someone earns money like today, in the next 3 days, someone does not have any coin. Yeah, because everything revolves around drinking and taking those substances. Social problems. You cannot relate well with the family, with even the society because of the habit. Yeah. And someone will waste their productive years. Like, for example, if you dwell so much in drug and substance abuse, when you realize it, you've already lost your precious time, your productive years, and maybe it has really eaten into you. At the end of the day, you find that you're not married. A lot of things have actually gone to waste. There's another issue I wanted to talk about, sexual identity. This has really affected our society. I just want to highlight almost everything so that at least even in future, as we talk about this, it is something that now you are aware of. Sexual identity, it is how some individuals define themselves in terms of their emotional, romantic, or sexual attraction. Basically, it is a component of sexual orientation. And here I know very well that most parents have issues here. Let me just narrow it down. You've heard people talk about gayism, lesbianism, bisexual, or someone who's straight. So these are some of the issues that really affect our current society because of maybe social media, because of peer pressure, because maybe it is the in thing right now, and maybe there's a culture that maybe you take your child to the boarding school and they're actually recruited into that activity. So it is good for a parent to actually close in and watch for the early signs. And I wanted to talk about the early signs that you really need to watch for. Yeah, when you see your child prefers, especially I want to talk about the young children because these can actually escalate to adulthood. Because when someone is a gay at an older stage, this is a decision that they have actually made with their consent. Let me say that. But during the early signs, it is something that you can actually change and actually discourage. So for children, there's something called gender play. You'll find that children prefer certain dolls or makeup. For example, if it is a boy, but he loves makeup, or he prefers dolls that are for the girl child, or he likes cooking, or even vice versa. Sometimes they cross dress. Sometimes you find that a boy child is actually wearing clothes that are for the opposite sex and vice versa. Play choices. You find that the young child can actually want to be a mother. Can actually want to be a mother. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can someone hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
We can hear you. It's loud and clear. We are very
Okay. Okay, so you'll find that maybe a child who is a boy would want to be a mother in play choices, or a girl wants to be a father. These are red signs. You should not take it lightly. Yeah, role like for example, you should create a positive environment. Yeah, there are cartoons that normally we watch. There's a time I watched some cartoon here with my children, and I found out that some content was not very friendly. So, and I would like to just tell parents that be sensitive on even what your children watch, because whatever it is, the child's mind is like a clean slate. Whatever you feed into that child will actually dictate what this child will be. So it is how to discourage, religious morals. We are all Christians. We know what the Bible says. We know what God wants for all of us. Seek counseling support. You can go back to our traditions. Yeah, you can go to the religious approach. You can involve other religious leaders to assist you when you realize there's a. But above all, discourage at the earliest opportunity possible. Yeah, I wanted to about peer pressure. I think this one cuts across. Yeah, it is something that you can actually discourage at the onset of everything. So it is also an issue, and it has really affected most of our children. So when you realize, as a parent, it is important for you to actually be able to notice that the company, your child's company, is not a good company. And there's nothing wrong in even discouraging such friendships. I also have teenagers. I have a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old. And sometimes when I look at their friends, they are friends that I like because of maybe my own reservations. And there are some that, as a parent, I can actually see this is not a good friend. And it is my responsibility to sit down with my child and tell him, because of this and this and this and this, I do not. Like there's one who is a friend to my children, but her dress she's a girl, of course, but her dressing code is malish, is a tomboyish. I don't know if you really understand, male oriented. So most of the time when she comes, I don't like it because I just feel that maybe soon my children will start dressing that way, or maybe if there's something that I don't know about this particular girl, my children will get influenced to that. So I started talking to them. It was not very easy because, children, sometimes they don't understand, they don't see what we see as parents. But eventually, I managed to end that relationship. Several times I've even chased some away, and I do not feel apologetic about it, because I have a role to play. If I feel that this girl is actually or this friend is misleading my child, for example, if I've seen them in funny corners, I'll always tell my children and even talk to that friend so that at least I guide them together. But if I tend to see that there's no change, I'll take my child and save my child out of that situation. Let me talk about special needs. Special needs. We have parents who have special needs children in our church, in the society. Kindly let us help each other. It is not someone's what can I say? It is not it is Let me say this. You cannot dictate the kind of child that you will get. It is some are medical, some are things that we cannot control. And because maybe the child is here, let us support the parents, let us support the children. And there are many ways that we can do this as a church. Let us include these children in activities in the church. Let us include them in our activity. Like, for example, if you have a birthday party and you know of a parent who has a child who has a special need, invite them. Let them feel included. As a parent, take your child to school. We have special needs institutions that can actually take care of such children. Do not hide your child from the society. Be proud of what God has given you. Because in every situation, God cannot give you what you cannot handle. So just be proud of that. Give your child the best. There's a lady in social media that just lost her child the other day. And I've been following this lady. The child had a problem with spinal cord. And actually, the doctors said that this child will not go past 11 months. But this woman struggled with the child, and she actually put her on social media, and for the world to see. She was so proud of her. This Nini child could not feed by the mouth. This child could not do anything. She was just on the bed throughout. But she just lost the child at 9 years the other day. So, but what I just wanted to say that if she did not embrace that this is my child, and did whatever she could do with the child, and even enjoyed the 9 years with her daughter, maybe she could have lost her child at 11 months, the way the doctors said. So I'm just saying, let us just be positive and try to assist each other. The burden of raising a special needs child is not easy. So as you point fingers to these parents, as you talk about them, as you gossip, bear in mind that it is God who provides. We have, if you've already given birth to your children and you feel that you no longer need kids, remember you'll have grandchildren, and you will not dictate the kind of children that you will have. So as you do that, let us embrace each other. Let us be there for each other. Let us pray for one another. Let us reach out, so that at least at the end of the day, let us have a healthy society. So thank you so much for listening. I've really talked, and I hope someone goes home with something today. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
And as we conclude, I just like us to remember this, that mental health, it's just as important as our physical health, and it's important also to take care of, noting that taking care of our mind, it's not something that it's not something that is selfish. It's something that is necessary. So today I just want to encourage each and every one of us that there is that need, not only just to check on others, there's that need also to check on ourselves. There's no way you can check on others while you yourself, you've not checked on yourself. And also it's also key that we speak openly about our mental well-being. As a church, also encourage, and also in this forum, and also as a community, that let us create a safe and loving environment where people get an opportunity to feel free to share their struggles and also receive encouragement. I want to believe that together we can walk in hope and through prayer in strength and peace. Yeah, yes. I'd like to really appreciate your attention for that time that you've given us to share with you.
Yeah.
On the chat, there is a question on the chat.
Thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, I'll answer the question just a minute. And I would like to just request that before I finish, I have a song that I wanted to sing at the onset of this, but I felt it was important for us to first concentrate on our topics today. So if you allow me, if time allows, I will sing that song. It's a song that I really love and it encourages me so much. Yeah, what is the question? Just a minute. Just read for me the question.
Just a second.
Just a second. I'm not able to see the question. So can someone kindly read for me?
Yes, it's about what about the adult wrong friends?
What about?
Adult wrong friends.
Oh, adult wrong friends.
Yes.
No, another one asking,
Mm.
very nice topic. I lost my job on December and I could not get out of the house for a month. I was feeling so weak and hopeless. Could it be a sign of depression or anxiety?
Oh, okay. Maybe I will say this. Wrong friends, okay, adults. Let me start with the first question. Friendship is very important. And we encourage no one is an island. It is important for everyone maybe to have someone who is close to you. However, not all friends are healthy. Some friends can slowly lead us into stress and bad choices or spiritual weakness, for example. If you have friends who do not have the same beliefs as you, it is important for you to actually see and be able to identify with friends who can actually be beneficial to you. Like I said earlier, There are, like, for example, you as a person, there are things that there are morals that you know very well that these are good morals, and you have a friend who's totally the opposite of you. There's nothing you're sharing in common, because it is important for you to actually have a friend that you share the same what, the same morals. Yeah. If, for example, if you have a friend who drinks, for example, or who smokes, there's no way you will sustain that friendship because there's nothing that you share in common. So it is important for you to do what? If you do not have a prayerful friend and you are prayerful, there's nothing you're sharing in common. So the best thing to do is to identify a friend who is prayerful so that you can actually share, you can have something in common. Like I told you, you cannot work with a thief and end up and not end up being a thief. Yeah. For example, here in Kenya, you cannot work with. I've seen most people. They are just friends and they go to what they share in common is just drinking. It has reached a point whereby they can actually go and changa. Here we call changa here in Kenya. Someone does not have enough money, but they have to drink. So they call all their friends and put their money together. How much do you have? I have 100 bob, and you? And eventually, they can be able to buy one big drink and share together. Imagine that is friendship. Yeah. Where does that, where is the end game? What is the end game? So it is important for you as a person to just sit down and reflect and just realize that there's nothing good that will come out of that relationship. Just identify with the friends that you do what? That can actually help you grow as a person. So, and this one is also to parents. Even our friends as parents can actually dictate the kind of friends that our children have, because most of the time you find that our friends, they will come around most of the time. So these are the people that our children will know and their children. So even our friends as parents can actually dictate the friends of our children. So I think that is, yeah. It is also important to guard your, just keeping distance. If you feel that this friend is not a good friend, just set boundaries. Yeah. Yeah. So that at least you, yeah. So I don't know. The second question, Sister Naomi, you said the second question was?
That one was read by my sister. It's a very nice topic. I lost my job on December and I could not get out of the house for a month. I was feeling so weak and so hopeless. Could it be signs of depression or anxiety?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. And most people have experienced that. We live in an era whereby it is very difficult to get a job, and if you have one, it is very easy to lose it. So I would like to just encourage my sister, but on that one, it could be depression, it could be withdrawal. There are people, when they are going through a situation, they tend to withdraw from the public. So it depends. I don't know what your situation is right now. Maybe you can side chat me so that at least we can see how best we can support each other. But if you lose a job, that is a loss. And loss of anything that is special to you can actually affect you in one way or another. So it is important for you to actually seek help and see how best you can go about it, and even learn coping mechanisms. Like, for example, during the COVID time, I just want to give this as a scenario. Most people lost their jobs. Yeah, but we did not. Life did not end there. People looked for alternative ways of means of survival. So it is important for you to just look at the coping mechanisms that you have through the support, obviously, of your loved ones, so that you're able to go through season well. Yeah. Thank you.
And also, I like to mention for the situation of the one who lost the job. I think when someone loses a job, there are several things that normally happen at a go. It means that you lose your income. That automatically to you, it in your mindset, it creates a worry, a financial worry. Yeah. And that is normally work is something that you normally do on a routine basis. So you also become confused. Yeah. And given that you are working with other people, you lose identity. Identity, something that normally gives you a sense of purpose. So eventually you end up developing certain fears, certain uncertainties, fear of the future. How will my future be when I lose my job? Will I be able to really be able to get income or support myself and my family? So normally you find that your body tends to react, and also your mind reacts to that kind of situation. That's why you find that somebody has low energy, they end up staying indoors also because of that situation. Concentrating becomes difficult, and also that's why they become physically tiredness. So this normally, uh, technically, it's not a weakness. It's just that a
Season.
stress response. Yeah, it's a response of stress. So I think for such kind of person, what they experience, they should understand that it's temporary. It's only that their mind is trying to adjust to certain changes, and normally it will take time. Just the same way when you get an injury, a physical injury, it will take time, and eventually uh, it will heal. Because you see, you cannot solve everything at once. It's just a step at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hello?
I also have another question here. You said that we know the drugs people abuse. We don't. We don't
Oh,
know
okay.
this drug. Can you please help?
Okay. I can actually highlight a few. Yeah, because of time, I thought maybe I should just rush over, but I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we have a lot of drugs that people abuse. Like, for example, we have alcohol, marijuana, nicotine, cocaine, cigarettes. There's another one also called vape. I don't know whether you know it, but it is somehow new. Me, I've seen it recently here in Kenya. It is smokeless, and you can actually not even realize that someone is smoking. I don't know whether you've seen it. It is called vape. Yeah, you're just with someone, but they're just inhaling it slowly. It is just like a gadget that looks like a pen. Yeah. So that one is also there. So apart from that, we have different forms. Obviously, the ones that are injectable, and the ones that are injectable, obviously, can cause people have done that because of their addiction. You find that people share even sharp objects that can actually lead to other infections like HIV and STIs. So it is important for people to just understand that these things are in the society, and sometimes it starts step by step, and it is not easy for you to even realize, because sometimes maybe you are at work and your child is at home, and because of the availability of the liquor stores and the drug dens, like for example in our area here, they are sold everywhere. Yeah, even the alcohol itself, you don't have to buy the whole bottle. If you don't have the money, there's something called the kata. You just go and buy a quarter or half. So they are locally available. Yeah. Thank you, Sister Naomi.
And just uh, drug abuse, as much as they are illegal drugs, there are also drugs that are legal,
Mm.
over-the-counter drugs. Some people tend to abuse medicines meant to treat illnesses. You see, like painkillers, sleeping pills, anxiety medication. You see, the moment you take these drugs
Addictive.
without any medical guidance, automatically that is an abuse of that particular drug. So you end up having a dependence on those drugs. You develop memory problems and maybe certain serious health risks. So there are those drugs that are just over-the-counter drugs, but when they are misused, that automatically is termed as a drug abuse. Yeah.
Yeah, and just allow me to just talk a little bit about this issue of drugs now that Sister Naomi has raised it. There's this part of the risky behaviors that come along with the use of drugs. Like for example, most people have engaged in drink and drive behaviors. Like for example, you've gone to drink, and because maybe you had a car or a motorbike, but you want to drive back home and you're already high on substance. So it is important for us to just note that it is risky because you can actually lose your life in the process. Yeah. Again, there are countries whereby, even in our country here, if you're found high and driving, you can actually be behind bars. Yeah. Another thing also, people have engaged in unprotected sex. Like someone goes home with a woman without protection. When they realize they were high on substance and they could not actually control themselves, they could not make that decision because because they were high. So it is important for us to just know the issues that also can actually arise when someone takes drugs. Yeah, dependency. There are people who've taken drugs that they cannot even operate without taking drugs because they are fully dependent to those drugs. Yeah, there are other mental illnesses that can actually crop up, like anxiety, depression. Yeah, and some people even overdose themselves. Yeah, someone just drinks and says, "Me, let me just die." Yeah, because of that over dependencies. So let's hope that as we talk about this, you're able to relate with maybe what you're going through or what someone is going through. Let them seek help because it is something that has really affected the society. Yeah, and because of a lot of factors like loss, like there are no jobs nowadays. A lot of issues are not like life itself has become so hard that people now tend to look for other coping mechanisms that are not healthy. Yeah, thank you so much.
There's
Thank you so
something
much.
that I was asking about
Just a
demonic
minute
possession.
just a minute on the drugs that you talked about. You know, I think it would be helpful if we can name those ones that people use, you know, for pain, but they don't know. Like in Kenya, you know, here we have Oxycontin, we have Ativan, but you cannot get them. They are controlled substances. You cannot get them unless the doctor prescribes. But in Kenya, I think people can just go back and get it, you know, because you end up depending on it. Are you able to see? I don't know what they call them out there in Kenya, so that, you know, people can always go and buy these medications thinking that, you know, when I take them, I feel good. I just feeling good, but they don't know that it's also damaging other things, and they're supposed to be taken just for a few days. So what do you call them there in Kenya? Do you know the names? If we don't,
Excuse
it's
me.
okay.
Yeah, I know. Maybe there are doctors in the house. You know, this is a
Yeah.
healthcare. Yeah, Sister Naomi, thank you. I know you're a nurse. So if there's any other doctor in the house, this is our affair. It is mental health. It is healthcare. So you can actually raise your hand and support in that topic. But what I know, in Kenya here, there's this habit of over the counter. Yeah, people just walk into the chemist and just buy drugs, and you're given. Yeah, like the other day, like for example, if you use a drug that is not prescribed over and over again, obviously there are effects. Like for example, if it is an antibiotic, you tend to, now the body gets used to that drug, in that now, even if now you have a genuine problem, that particular drug cannot help you. So abuse of drugs, it is important for us to just embrace. If you're sick, just seek medical advice. Get into the healthcare facility, get tested, seek the advice of the doctor. Let us let us avoid the habit of just going over the counter and say, Mimi, I have a problem with this and this and this, give me drugs. Like paracetamol and brufen are the most abused drugs. And there's another one also called, I don't know, tramadol. Yeah, because of pain, someone just thinks it is just a simple drug. I can actually buy it over the counter. Yeah, but it becomes addictive that some people cannot sleep, like diazepam. Yeah, people cannot sleep without taking those drugs. So you become addicted to those drugs. Yeah, thank you so much, Sister Naomi.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sister Nancy Mayaka. I know there are so many questions that are likely to stream in from this moment, but I'm humbly requesting that if there's any more questions, we are still online. We can have them put on the chat box so that we can slot time. Even as we proceed, you can still answer them so that we cannot eat into someone else's time. I'm requesting.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, I'm really sorry about this. So that we do not go further into the other programs. So
What,
I'm
what I know,
requesting that you.
what I know, Brother Oginga, medical health is a very wide topic. So allow me to let me just request that if there's anyone who has more questions, they can DM so that we can continue from there. We can give support, out of this, because I know we have timeline, we have a timetable, and maybe in future, if time allows, we can continue with such sessions. Yeah, because it is something that people have not embraced. Like here in Kenya, the uptake of mental health, it is now that people are actually the uptake. It is now that people have recognized that they really need to seek medical mental health. Yeah, thank you so much. So I don't know, Brother Edwin, if I can
Hello.
sing a song.
I
That's
would. I'm gladly requesting that you allow me end the program so that we can go into the other session because it's already 15 minutes past.
okay. Edwin, me, I was saying that we have this platform every day. Nance can
Yes.
come. Nance, we are the same people. Nance can come again, even during
Yes.
the
Yes.
week, and speak about it.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opinion. I think that is noted by the host. Please allow me to finish by saying that above all things, the Lord is still on the throne, even as much as we have this knowledge in how to get the remedies of the problems that we are suffering from. He is still the remedy that we require. So thank you so much, Sister Nancy, for the wonderful sharing and enlightenment. So I would just like to pray as we go into the next session. Please let us believe and pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, we come before you. We want to thank you because this truth has reached us at this time because you are the one who planned it. We've understood that some of us have been going through these things without knowing. Some of us have been engaging in things out of our knowledge, Almighty Father. But we want to thank you because you care so much that you allowed us to be in this platform so that we may have this knowledge. For sure, lack of knowledge leads to perishing. But we want to thank you, Almighty Father, for your desire for us is not to perish, but to have everlasting life. May your will be done even as we move into the next session. Be with us till the end, for it is through Christ's holy name we pray.